వచ్చేద్దామంట.
వద్దా
నేను నిన్నే కింద పడేస్తాను. అది తేడా పడితే నేను నిన్ను కింద పడేస్తాను. తీసేసేది నేను మొబైల్
రికార్డింగ్ చేసావా?
మీరు కూడా వస్తారా? అన్ని లైన్ లాస్ట్ తొందరగా దోమలు వస్తాయి.
Yes, students, good evening. So now we'll continue. Online students, am I audible? Come in. So sit here. Sitting all the corners not good now. Sit close to everybody. Backside people come here. Come here. Or you sit close to there only. No, sit there only. Okay. So now we'll start with so much of less strength. Today become everybody very good devotees. Huh? All devotees they become. Girls saying something. Now we'll continue. And tomorrow class is there. I told you the class. No? Tomorrow class is, even if you don't say no class, I'll take the class tomorrow. So tomorrow class. So tomorrow class at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Topic name is networking. Today I will start the topic. Yesterday I told you, that is our action plan. Already told you. So network programs will be starting. Today I will cover the concept of it. Library I will cover it. Networking programs will be covered tomorrow class. We should not become absent for this. Okay, this is a tomorrow's class announcement. I'll keep the Google Drive class link to you in the right. I will keep that Google Drive class link in the Google Drive class. You try to take that. Okay. So tomorrow you have an exam, sir. Satish is saying 7 a.m. 7 a.m. is having an exam. Sunday. Satish. Now I will start 10 a.m. So 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. you can attend now. 1 hour you can prepare. Amma? Traffic. Journey. Okay, 1 hour is enough. Amma? Exam? SI. Police exam. Okay, right? That is different and this is different. That is different, this is different. Okay. Okay, students, my class is there tomorrow at this time. Are you writing? Others are writing. Okay. Okay, students, now today I'll start the lesson. I'll take the concept. Network programming in Python. Actually, this topic is outdated, but this is useful to you. Sometimes when you are working with telecommunication applications where Python can be used. So, because in Java also this concept is there, even in .NET also this concept is there. Those concepts are totally outdated. Those concepts are already outdated. But this concept in telecommunication level, sometimes you will use it. So that's why I'm covering this concept. Okay. So let's start listening about this concept now. So listen this concept now. Avinash, I'll talk to you at the end of it now. I'll talk to you at the end of it. Every day I'm talking to you at the end of it now. That time you can raise your doubt. Okay now? So now present topic is network programming. This is 2 days topic. 2 days topic. Today I will cover the concept. Tomorrow I will take the programming. Easy, not a difficult, so simple. Let's start with what is the indexing. First point is what is the purpose of networking. And next is called what? What will be the client server application? Client server application. And next we are going to discuss, I'll write down, what is client server application Next I will go for steps for developing, separate thing, steps for developing. So developing what applications? Client server applications. I'm going to explain client server applications. And next, module name for developing, client server applications, which are going to discuss here as what? Socket. We call it as what? Socket. This is called socket programming, we can call. Come in. Socket programming we can call. So tomorrow class I will discuss programming part. Today I will cover the concepts. Next, socket module, that is a module description. That is called next what? Functions in what? Which module? Socket module. Now next, going forward, programming examples I am going to discuss. This is the index of this. It's actually very small topic, so it's not possible to complete it in program plus concept in one single point. So I'll discuss today concept, and next we'll go for programming example in tomorrow class. Actually I can take one day, but one day gap is coming, you will forget that. That's why I want to take tomorrow class. Come in. So let me start. What is the purpose of networking? Okay, look at that. So I'm going to discuss purpose of networking here. Carefully listen, students. Actually, it is a dead easy once you put across. Are you remembering our database steps? DNS, IP address. Remember, no? DNS, IP address, service ID, all those kind of things. That type of terminology will be coming. That is also communicating with other end device, that is other database, file opening, two things. Here also two programs will be there. Let's start with what is the purpose of network programming. For example, this is my PC, which is containing some information, some sort of information. I am having another type of PC. This is a PC1. This is having PC2. Another type of information is available. How can I access this information from another PC? The information of PC2 to be accessed from where? PC1. What is the model required for you? Forget about network programming. Your knowledge, you tell me. I want to access some remote mission data in my present mission. How can I access it? Do you know any desk software is there, right? What is that any desk software will give you? Some ID will come. If I give an ID, I can access your mission or not. What is that meaning actually? That is nothing but what? One set of network programming inside activated. You will install any desk, right? And you will get some number when you on. And that number, if I tell to other person, if you enter that person, you will be straightforward connected to your machine. That's the simplest part of accessing the data from one machine to another machine. So here, the main purpose of network programming is to share the data between multiple machines which are located across the universe. The main purpose of network programming is to share the data of two remote missions across the universe. For that purpose, networking is most useful now. You take Act Fiber Net, you take Geo. So many network providers came or not. Because of that, what is happening? Information dissemination can be taking place. What is meant by information dissemination? Information broadcasting can be taken place. That is an internal implementation of what? Networking. You take banking, banking. Your account is there in the districts. How can I access that information in your mobile? Or how can I access your account details in some other branch of same thing? SBI of Hyderabad or Amirpet want to access some district SBI account unauthorized. How do you do that? What is the reason behind that? Networking. or you are going to deposit the money in your district friend account. How it is possible from Hyderabad account? Was it there in earlier days? No. So nowadays it is becoming internet banking and everything or not. So the concept behind these things is what? Network programming. So what is the purpose of network programming? To share the data between multiple remote machines. Are you understanding? Right. Now I am starting with first point. In every topic beginning, purpose of it we are learning it. The purpose of network programming is that to share the data between multiple remote machines which are located across the universe. Did you understand this first title of it? Any language, even C++ programming also used in earlier BSNL software was developed in C++. C++ is most popular for what? Telecommunication applications. Now some of the US based telecom providers using Python for sharing the information and making the calls, video kind of disseminations. They are using internally what coding? Python coding. That is a survey what is recently given. What is the library they are using? Socket library of Python they are using it. Now, to share the data between multiple remote machines which are located across the universe, which programming is required? Network programming is required. So to develop or to share the data between multiple machines, we need to write, or we must write two types of programs. They are first one is called what? Client side program. First I will write the beginning one, main one I will write. Server side program. Second one is called what? Client side program. First one is client side program and first one is server side program and client side program. Take one more example. Suppose you have started your own business, which is head office is available in Amirpet, and you have started different other centers in Hyderabad in different locations. In different locations you are there. As a MD of it, you are sitting in head office and you are seeing the progress of your different branches progress from where? Hyderabad head office only, through your softwares. That means what transactions are going on at your branch offices, head office people will be coming to know. This comes under what? A kind of which application? Server application. And these kind of things are what? Client. Take one more example. SBI you take it. This is called a SBI head office and it is called SBI server. And there are so many SBI branch offices are available across the universe. So many places this SBI is available. These are all called a different type of branch offices. If X SBI office, SBI bank want to deposit into some Y SBI branch, the transaction will be done through what? Server in other place. Directly you cannot communicate this kind of X to Y, direct communication will not be there. So to have the communication with Y, it has to be done through what? Server only, that can be disseminated that information. So when you are writing any networking application, two types of programs are mandatory. One is server side program and one more is client side program. So what is the server side program? And before that, I would like to give you one small definition also, student. Definition of what? Network. Definition of network I want to give you. What is the definition of network? Can anybody answer it? Because you are also having some idea about networking, network definition at least. You are asking by yourself, what is network? Come on, whatever you know, you tell me so that I can write what is the original one. Connection, information, that is called network programming. Programming different from network. To do the programming, it should have physical setup is required. Physical setup is required. You take your best example, computer science lab, your college lab, you take it. All devices are connected to each other. Now tell me, whatever you know, you tell me that. Connection between two devices. Okay, good. Good. Still, connection between two or more devices. Adesh Kumar. Okay, good. Shoaib Khan. Group of devices connected together. Also good. Okay, that I can expect up to that. No problem. Now I am saying a network is a collection of, I am saying that according to Cisco, you know, Cisco routers, according to the pure networking terminology I am defining. A network is a collection of interconnected, autonomous computers, connected with what? Server is called a network. A network is a collection of interconnected autonomous computers connected with what? Server. Or I can write this word in the beginning. It will be more things here. Collection of autonomous interconnected computers connected with what? Server. Connected with the server. For what purpose? For exchanging of the information. For exchanging of the information purpose, we go for like that. Just a minute, ma. Just a minute. Okay, students. Now I will continue. To share the data between multiple machines, we must write two types of programs. They are server-side program and client-side program. In order to have this type of thing, you must have what? Physical network must be established. You take Geo Fiber. Nowadays it is available now. So they are putting what? Physical networking is connected. And they are going to give the information to any one of the other devices which people are interested in. So how they are going to be there? Lot of computers, what you are using it, is connected indirectly with whom? Server. This is a full-fledged definition of what? Definition of network. So go for one small diagram I will give it. Small diagram I will give it. Here it is going to be something like this. So instead of going for networking level of diagrams and all, what is the useful to my program? I'm just writing here. This is called two devices I'm having, two different machines we are using it. This is called which side program? Client side program I am writing. Client side PROC. Client side program I am taking. And one more I am taking here what? Server side program I am taking. Listen students carefully. Server side program I am going to take. And this client side program is communicating with the server. How it is communicating with server? I am going to explain the concept. What is the DNS, IP address, port number, so many things will come. If you go on listening carefully, you will understand it. And this type of devices already connected over the network. Already connected over the network. These type of things are already connected over the network. So this is, don't think that symbol which is I am using something, don't think that it is something like that. You treat something like a network. What is this is called? Network. This is just connected these things. What client can do, and even I will tell you another type of application development also for you, that is called database communication also I will tell you. Because 3-tier application also I will tell you. This is called what? Database. This example also I will tell you. This example also I will tell you. Not only just normal example, we can tell you this also. Because every telecommunication maintains the database also. So when you make a call, that call will be verified. Is it a Airtel user or Jio user or something, so that it will be disseminated properly to the destination part. This is known as what? Tier 1. Tier 1. Very shortly we go to the programming discussion of it. Tier 2, and this is called Tier 3. This is called Tier 3, which is also known as what? It is also known as what, 3-tier application we can call. In Django also, by using MVT architecture, model view template. This is called a model view template. It is the main architecture. Model means what? Database. View means what? A HTML page. And a template means a server program you are writing by using Python coding. Template. There they need to have a lot of libraries. Learning Django is very simple. Very, very simple. And inside of it, Django, what will come? HTML will come, JavaScript will come, CSS will come. That is only many things are available. Because it is going to be in Java servlets. In Python, Django. In Django, total code is what? Python only. Total code. But the Django library will be there. With the protocol related libraries will come. That libraries, if you use it, 4 libraries are there. If you use it, you will come across. Nowadays, 4.x is a version is available. Generally, people will explain 1.x. You have to learn 4.x Django now. And it is easy, not a difficult. So this type of, with the Python programming, I will explain this model view architecture also. I will tell you through Python coding. That I will explain in tomorrow this coding. Today I am discussing what? How to develop client-side program, how to develop server-side program. Module I will explain. Programming I will start in the next class. That is tomorrow class. Come down, students. Here, these 2 devices are what? Connected to each other through some type of network. And not only one device connected, hundreds of client machines connected to what? Server-side program. Okay. Now I want to define what is a server-side program will do. What is a client-side program can do. Now I am writing definition of which program? Server-side program I am going to say. What server-side program can do. So you also try to do that. You also try to say what is the definition of server-side program. Next, definition of client-side program. Once these 2 definitions are clear, programming is going to become easy. Tell me, students. See, client-side program and server-side program. Look at this diagram once again. Every client-side program makes a request. Every client-side program makes a request to whom? Server-side program. What server-side program will do? Receive the request. Don't give immediate response. Understand? Because we need to go for programming. We are writing the programming. It receives the request. First step, it receives the request. Come on, next what? It processes the request and gives what? A response. It gives response. I'll tell you the charting application also. So, coming to the point of it, server-side program is giving you what? Response. Don't tell only single response. To give the response, what is doing internally? Receive the request, read the requested data, process the requested data, study the requested data. Based on the request, you need to give the response back to the client. What is the server-side program? I am writing it. A server-side program receives the request of what? Client. Receives the request of client. What is this now? Process the request and gives what? Response. Gives response back to what? Back to client-side program. Back to client-side program is the responsibility of what? Client-side program, server-side program. In that some steps are there. What are those steps? I will explain very shortly. This is called what? Now I am coming to client-side program. Client-side program. Tell me what is a client-side program? Same. See the diagram. A client-side program always makes what? Request. How the request will be done? Whether you are making static request or dynamic request. Dynamic request means read the data from where? keyboard and send that keyboard data as a request to the server side program. It receives it, process it, and then make the result ready and give the response as response to whom. So simply I will say a client side program, I'm writing always makes a request to what? Server side program and obtains what? Response from where? Server side program. Writing server side program is important. Client side program is very simple. Writing client side program always makes a request to server side program, obtains the response from where? Server side program. This is the definition of what? Client side program. Okay. See, I will open a browser which is there on my desktop, www.gmail.com. What will happen? It will go to Gmail server through our underlying internet provider, and then we get the response from where? Gmail. So who is the response provider? Gmail. Gmail is called which side program? Server side program. And my browser on the desktop is called what? Like that. So coming to the next, understand this diagram. Online students, are you able to understand? Are you able to understand, students? Are you able to understand these two definitions? Respond it. Now I need to go for further discussion. Next, observe this kind of things. Observe this kind of things, students, carefully. Go to this place. Now, if I want to make a request, before making a request, before client side program makes a request to which side program? Server side program. Before making a client side program to where? Server side program. First you must get what? Previously, you must say that I should listen it. Suppose you are writing a Python program to communicate with the Oracle database previously. Before inserting record, deleting record and updating record, what I did? You have a connection, correct? Same thing. Before you are going to make a request to the server side program, you must get what? Connection. You must get the connection. That is nothing but every client side program must get the connection. To get the connection, what must be known to you? In Oracle database, when I am going to get the connection from Oracle database, first I must understood Oracle database installed in which type of machine. Is it necessary to know the machine name or not? That machine name is available in the form of DNS or available in the form of IP address that we already discussed in the class. So, client side program want to get the connection from server side program. You must know that in which machine our server side program resides. So, I am going to make it slowly. Small definitions I am going to give you. Definition of what? DNS. I already wrote it, but once again I am writing. So, domain naming service. Domain naming service. What is the definition I said already, students? What is the definition of it I said to you? It is the name of the physical machine. I already told you. It is the name of the physical machine. It is one of name of the physical machine. Where server side program resides. Where server side program resides. First I must know the location of where server side program resides. What is the default DNS of every PC? I already told you. Default DNS of every computer is what? Localhost. Is localhost. I hope you know that. When you are working with the big companies, definitely they will be giving some sort of name to that computer. That name you will use wherever localhost we use it. Even in database side, PDBC programming also I told you that. In place of local host, you can pass what also? Address also you can pass it. That is called what? IP address we can call. What is that? IP address. I will write a definition of what? IP address. You can pass it. That is internet protocol address. Internet protocol address. Well, protocol address. So, coming to the point of it, it is the name of the computer I said, physical name. It is nothing. Now I am going to that. It is the name of the physical machine. Now I am writing. It is the numerical address of a physical machine where server side program resides. That means whenever I write in the internet www.gmail.com, if I give it, it is internally converted into its IP address. Why IP addresses are confidential? Because if you give IP address, there is a chance of getting hacking. If you give directly IP address of government servers, they will hack it. When they hack it, what will happen? They will try to get the confidential information. Are you getting my point? Mobile hacking, all those kind of things will be there, provided once they know what? IP addresses. That's why IP addresses are always hidden. IP addresses will not be disclosed. And every IP address of the machine, the default IP address of every computer, is 127.127.0.0.1, which is also known as what? Loop address. This one thing we are already aware of it. Even you take Gmail, you take many of the websites, all websites are internally containing IP addresses. Okay, na? Right. Because when you are going to register by yourself as a website, when you are registering your host with ISPs, they will give you some address for you. You are buying some space for that website. They will allocate some sort of IP address for you. That IP addresses are confidential. They cannot be disclosed. Now, okay. So you are coming to know that, visit this diagram, and you are finding that a client machine. I will remove it few times about this. And this is present into where? Localhost, and nothing but what? 127.0.0.1. That means at one point of time, this is available. So I am giving, when my client side program is communicating with this, I am giving to what? Machine name I gave it. Okay. In this machine name, there is a server program 1 is running, server program 2 is running, server program 3 is running. There are 100 server programs are running. Which server program I need to contact? That is also an important or not? You are going to your college. Your college is called what? Localhost or 127.0.0.1. Your room number first year, room number 2 second year, third year, fourth year, different room numbers are there. You are a third year student. Directly go to where? Room number 3. What is that 3 is called? You came to the server, and in the server you are going to the room number 3. That 3 is known as what? Port number. What is it called? Port number. You can think like that. Take like this. This is called a geo, for example. Okay. There are lot of mobile numbers are there. If some person will dial it, assume that it will come to where? Geo server. In that, lot of mobile numbers are there or not? What is happening? It will come to network provider. In that, what is looking for? A mobile number. That is nothing but a mobile number of yours is simply considered one point of each what? Port number. Suppose if you apply for MNP, mobile network portability, that will be removed from this, and then it will be added to some other server, kind of, right or not? So, all your mobile numbers just considered as what? Port numbers, like in your Jio server or Airtel server or something else. Are you able to get it? Now, coming to the point back, here I am going to say, if you want to connect to the server side program, first thing you need to pass either DNS or IP address. Only that is enough? No. You need to go for what also? Definition of port numbers are required. Port number I am going to take it. What is the definition of port number? Here I am writing this number. I am writing. A port number is one of the logical numerical ID. Why I am using the word logical numerical ID? Because that ID is not permanent. I can change. Today we are going to sit 1 month in room number 2. We will shift it to what? Room number 5 also. But what is remain same? College remains same. Room number may be changing. So if anything is permanent, that is called what? DNS or IP address. What is shifting? In one point of time, I will run it port number 2. I will shift it to other port number 3 also, 23 also, 24 also. I can give my own port number here. A port number is one of the logical numerical ID where server side program is running. I will write what? Running. Running location is known as what? Port number. Residing location is known as what? IP address. Or residing location is called a DNS. Tell me, if I want to get a connection, what are the things to pass it? DNS or IP address, comma, port number you need to pass, so that I can get the connection. So I am writing one simple sentence here. One important point I am writing. If client side program want to get connection from which side program? Server side program. Then it must pass what? DNS or what? Slash IP address I will write. Any one of it you pass, comma, what I will pass? Port number I will pass it. Port number we will pass it. We pass either DNS or IP address, and what we will pass? Port number. Then we can get the connection. Is it clear? Is this terminology is clear? And dear students, I am not going to that much is going to be. All our protocols also will contain some port numbers. FTP you take it. FTP, of course, this is not used in our normal websites. FTP, SMTP, and a pure networking level if you go for it, subject of networking, every protocol is containing some sort of port numbers. So those port numbers is not necessary to use at this time. We will use our own port number. How I will give the port numbers, I am going to show you. Okay, now port number is nothing but a numerical ID where we are going to make our server side program is running. So Naresh ID is called what? Server side program, it is where I am running it. I am a server side program example. I am residing in where? Naresh IT. So you are coming to Naresh IT, that is called DNS. Coming to room number 1. What is that room number 1 is called? Port number. Naresh IT is called just like what? DNS it is. Server side program only, it is a DNS, it is a machine name. KVR is called what? Server side program. Running at room number 1 in Naresh IT. Did you understand this point? So you are coming to Naresh IT address. In room number 1, KVR is running. That is nothing but what? I am a server side program running at this address at room number 1. Room number 1 is called port number. And Naresh IT address is called IP address. Those two things you need to pass it. I hope I am clear about this definition of what? IP address, port number, and then DNS. After that, I am entering into steps for development of which program? Server side program I am going to discuss. So students in the online, I hope these definitions are clear. And some of the definitions already used in database site, and it is easy to, I hope it is easy to understand. So online students, please respond it. I hope you understood. I hope so these definitions. Now I am going for what? Steps for developing which applications? Server side applications. I'm going to discuss. So coming to the point back, now I am going to discuss steps for discussing server side applications. Now, to develop the server side applications, I will go for some steps are there. After the steps are over, I'll go for steps for developing what applications? Client side application also I will use it. Client side application also we will use it. Simple students, how you wrote the steps for PDBC applications? Same thing here also, some steps will come. What is the first step of our PDBC application? Import database related module. What is the module name required in networking? I said socket. What is socket? You don't worry. First step is what? Import which module? Socket module. First step is that. Step number 1. I will write like this. Step number 1. Next I am going for what? Step number 2. Step number 2. What is the step number 2? Come on. Every server side program. This is a little understandability, little away from you. Try to understand. Suppose I am a teacher, which I want to become a server side program. I must bind with some institute or not? Understand? I am writing one Python program. That Python program is having what qualities? Receiving request, processing request, having the capability to give the response. Such a type of thing is called which program? Server side program. I must write every server side program must run at certain DNS and what port number. That is the second step. For everything there is certain type of statement is there programmatically. When I am making server side program, it must run at a certain DNS and what port number. That is second step. How to make it to run at certain DNS and port number, I will explain. You can also mention what here? IP address. IP address you can write it. Next, step number 3. Online students, careful. Not communicating very effectively. Only few students are communicating. So communicate so that you can get it, whether you are following or not. Next, what should I do? Every server side program must run at certain address and certain port number. Every faculty is available at certain institute and take the class at certain room number. Next, come on. Here, it is the limitation of it. Why in industry as on today network programming is out of order? After the programming, I will tell you the limit. You only will tell what are the limitations. Every networking application, as on today, all websites are working with networking only. But where are we running them? In browser. Browser running applications are called web applications or not? But this networking doesn't have the capability to run in the browser. Only from the command prompt we need to run it. Is the present world is running from the command prompt? No, it is running in the browser only now. That's why browser based libraries are not supported in where? Socket module. Socket module always provides only command based operations, like a command prompt. DOS based operations only it will provide. As on today, DOS based networking is almost out of order. But this I am explaining to be useful in telecommunication especially. That's why I am just going for. If any such type of requirement is coming in the near future, they may ask socket module functions, steps like this and all. Now I am writing. One I am saying, every server program, this is also one important students. Every server side program must configure in such a way that to how many client side programs use response. This is also one important limitation. That's why even your industry not using this. You have to specify in your server side program to how many clients it can communicate. Actually in Gmail, is it giving only 100 people need to communicate or 2000 people need to communicate like that? No, it gives hundreds and thousands and lakhs of people can communicate or not. Concept behind that is It is a web-based kind of networking application. But this networking socket module is not having those libraries. It is a old, outdated API, maybe using in telecommunication. That's why I'm covering this part. So every server-side program must be configured in such a way that to how many clients it can provide the response. To 2 clients or 3 clients or 4 clients or to how many clients you want to provide the communication, that you need to configure. Which program you need to configure? Suppose if I say only 2 clients, if I have 4 clients are there, only 2 clients get the replies, other 2 clients will not get the replies. It is definitely a drawback or not? So that is the third step you need to do it. Okay. Step number 4. Step number 4. Okay, configured. These are all called what? Server side development. We are making it once and we are making it once. Next step is what? It is ready now. It is running now. Next, what is happening? After configuring, after making it everything ready, what should I do next? Every server side program, so need to interact. Every server side program must receive what? Client side program request. Client side program request must receive the client side program request. How it will receive? After making it ready, after configuring, then it will receive. Or must accept. I will write a little in capital letter. Must accept client side program request. How to accept it? We have a function for it. For everything there is a function, students. Keep in mind. Once we accept the client side request, next what you will do? You will process immediately. A postman is coming and giving the letter. What you will do? You will accept it. Immediately you will give reply. What you will do? You must read that. You must read that. That's what I said. Definition of server side program is need to accept the request, comma, process the request. Before processing, you must read that. And after that, you will understand what is that. Now I am writing. Every server side program must read and what? Process. Which side program request? Client side program request. Client side program request. Done. After processing, what he will give? Step number 6. What he will give? Response back. Every server side program must give response. How to give response and all those things I am going to give. Must give response. I am going to say response to what? Client side program. How to give response back to the server side program and all those things we are going to give it. This is comes under what? Server side program steps. What are the steps are repeating here? What are the steps are repeating? Tell me. Tell me, students. 4, 5, 6 are going to be repeated as long as client is sending the request. When you are going on asking the doubts to me, I will read, accept your doubt. I will read your doubt and process your doubt, and I will give the answer for you. Other person sending 4, 5, 6 will repeat as long as client makes a request. So repeat step number 4, comma step number 5, and what next? Step number 6. Repeat step 4, step 5, step 6 until all client side program request completes. All client side programs requests completes. I hope you are understanding this. All client side program request completes. This is called what? Steps for developing which applications? Server side application. As it is, these steps will be used as this. You have to process it. I personally feel that conversations, developing the client server application is nothing but conversation between two friends. A friend is called one server, another friend is called client. So a friend asked a question. A friend receives a request, accepting the other friend request. He must understand what is requesting. You will process it. and he will give answer to that friend. And this will be repeated 4, 5, 6 until the friend conversation completed. Now coming to the client side program. What are the steps? Come on, step number 1, please. If a client program want to get the responses from the client server and all, first you need to get the connection. So every client side program must get the connection from where? Server side program. Must get the connection from where? Server side program. Bypassing what? Bypassing DNS. Bypassing DNS or what? IP address and what? Port number. Bypassing port number. This is what I am writing. This is in the pair format I am passing. How to pass it? We are going to see programmatically in the class. I will cover the library also in today's class. Next, I'll go for step number 2. Okay. What is the step number 2? After getting a connection, every client side program must make a request, must send a request to whom? Server side program. Server side what? Program. Must send a request to which side program? Server side program. Step number 3. What is happening? Once you send a request to the server side program, straightforward go to which side? Server side. Every server side program accept what? Client side program request. Server side program must read and process the client side program request, and every server side program must give response back to where? Once response is coming, what will happen? I'm writing here, every client side program must receive what? Receive what? Server side program response. Must receive the response from where? Response from server side program. Must receive the response from server side program. Are you able to follow? After that, step number 4. Easy. What you will do? If a client want to send number of requests, repeat step 2 and then step 3. If a request and redirect. What is redirect? Response. That is called response only, na?
Sweet ಇದೆ.
That's what my student. Step number redirecting is not there here. What is redirecting? అదే నేను రాసేది ఇక్కడ రిపీట్ అని రాస్తాను. రిపీట్ స్టెప్ 4, స్టెప్ 5, స్టెప్ 6. Redirecting meaning is suppose I'll tell you what is the technical meaning of redirection. Suppose you are called Sun Microsystem, for example. You sell out your company rights for Oracle Corporation. Example, you understand carefully. Sun Microsystem is a original company of Java. Java copyrights is sell out to whom? Oracle Corporation. So people are habituated to communicate earlier with which website? Sun Microsystem, to download Java and all. Now, after sell out that copyrights to Oracle Corporation, still people are going to send the request to whom? Sun Microsystem only. Sun Microsystem people will not do that request of the users of the same website. They will redirect to what? Oracle website. From the Oracle website, you are going to get the response. And these users don't know that they are getting the response from where? Oracle Corporation. Oracle Corporation people give redirecting the response to whom? Sun Microsystem. Sun Microsystem people are giving the response back to the client. That is called redirection. Internally, two servers are interacting to each other. In servlets, you will use send redirect method is there. So I'll continue my class. So come to the point back. Every client side program must receive the response from where? Server side program. Now I am going to continue. If client is having multiple requests and responses, what it will do? Repeat step number 2 and 3 if client contains multiple requests. So I'll write repeat step number 3 and step number 4. Step number 4, when client side program wants to send what? Multiple requests for getting what responses? Multiple responses. This is the subject. This is the repetition. Are you able to get me? Are you able to understand? So these are the steps for which side programs? Client side programs. Fine. So we are going to see this diagram. You see this diagram carefully. Client side program is sending request to what? This place. Provided already connection was established. And request is made. That request will be read and accepted and then processed it and gives response back to the client. That is called sending response. If it is internally sending to some other server, that is called what? Redirection. And this is giving the re-response to whom? Response is giving to this server. This server is giving the re-response to what? Re-response to the client. That is the meaning. Fine. Even server side program is communicating with the database also. That is called one more type of request making only. You are sending from your browser a hall ticket number you are sending, ma'am. Hall ticket number you are sending. It is received by the website what government has registered. From there your server side program is communicating with what? Database. From database it will fetch your results and it will give you the answer for you. This system is happening. Understand? So server to server it is comes under redirection. Not this type of, this is not redirection. It is only directing the outputs. So coming to the point back, after this is completed, we need to go for to implement these steps. And one more I forget to write it here. Import step number 1. Import which module? Socket module. Here also socket module is required. This is step number 2. This is step number 2. This is step number 3 and 4 and then 5. And this 5, when you come to that, this is called what? Step number 3 and then 4. Step number 1 and 2, after getting the connection, 3 and 4 I will repeat. Repeat 3. Sending request, receiving response. 3 and 4 I will repeat for multiple requests and getting multiple responses. These are the steps. Now, how to implement these steps? We will go for what? Socket module I will explain. How to implement PDBC steps with modules. Which module? CX underscore Oracle, MySQL-connector, MySQL-connector underscore Python. So we are using one module called what module? Socket module. So I am going to write it. Module name required for developing. Module name required for developing. Required for developing which application? Requiring developing which application? Client server application. Client server application. Both combined together is called client server application. So let us move to the what is the module name required for development of client server application. To develop, what is that application now? Which side applications? Client server applications. Client server applications. We use which module? Socket module. Use what module? Socket module. What is the module definition? Variables, functions, classes. In that functions we are using. Once functions are there, We are getting classes also, obviously. How we are going to get it? To discuss. What are the functions available? Let me write roughly here. Ma? Converting? This one, I will tell you that. So this is not a third party module. It is called predefined module of Python only. We use predefined. We use, okay, of course, predefined module called what? Socket, and it present in Python only. It is not a third party module. It's not a third party module. Okay. Third party modules generally we are coming across in data science level, like SciPy, Scikit. Lot of modules are coming nowadays. Those kind of things only we will come across. Now, Python socket module is going to be called what? One sort of predefined module only. Actually, our course is Python developers course. Actually, I should strict on only to what? Python modules only I have to strict. That is my course. NumPy and Pandas has come some help, some extra help we are doing by explaining that. Actually, course title itself is what? Python developer. And I'm saying some extra modules I'm explaining. Beginning demo also is said. Some extra modules I will explain. Along with my Python course, I said I will explain some extra module towards the data science level, NumPy and Pandas I said. So here, when any third party module is coming, follow our syntax strictly. That is called import pip install that module name, whatever you get it. Now, so I am going to talk about what are the functions present inside of it. Now I am going to say, I am going to write it. It is containing the methods which I am writing something like this. First one I am going to talk about the socket. We are having lot of idea about how to understand the functions. Try to understand quickly. Number 2, remembering functions also one important property. Discussing forgetting is equal to like our BTech only. If you forget like that, problem. Now, coming to the point of it. Now, even morning one student, 7 o'clock student, 15 years back MCA completed. 15 years back. And that student is unable to write, boy or girl, I am not saying. That student is unable to write area of rectangle program, also unable to write. Beginning, we are in the batch processing programming. Unable to write area of circle program, I said in the class. Beginning days, you remember it. Pi r square. R square means how to write it, R into R. Like that, length into breadth. See, that student is unable to write that also. How to write, sir? Show me once. Like that. So, we can't say don't learn, or we can say learn now. What to say? Like that. So, coming to the point of it. Socket off. Coming to the next term, one more thing. I will go for it. Configure, or I can say in place of, that is a deprecation method. I will write it listen. One more function I will write before. Second is called what? Bind. B-I-N-D. Bind. Listen. And next I will write it. Third this is. Fourth function I am writing. Don't worry about it. I will explain one by one. Next is called accept. Fifth one is called send. Or RECV I will write it first. RECV with what? Decode. With the decode. Sixth one I will write it. Send. With what? Encode. With encode. Seventh one I will write it. Connect. Finished. Connect. Now I will discuss this. Socket. What is the English meaning of socket? And this is a very complicated to the student. What do you mean by socket? Whatever you know, you tell me that. Come on. Don't know socket? In your home, electric sockets are there. Before understanding that, try to get awareness once. What is the socket? It is the bidirectional communication between two entities, two endpoints. It is called what? Socket. You keep one plug to that and you will keep another end, one more device is there or not? What is going on? Something is passing between that. What is a socket? A bidirectional communication entity between two devices is called what? Socket. Whatever you are plug-in, another side also same plug-in will be there. So both the sides, what objects are there? Socket object only will be there. One socket object acting as extractor, one socket object is taking as a receiver. But both the ends, what object is there? Socket only. That's why server is also one socket, client is also one socket. Client will send the data to whom? Server. Server will receive the data from client socket. Server socket will process it by accepting it and gives response back to the client socket. So client socket, server socket. There is a common word called what? Socket. Because client and servers are two endpoints where they are going to be communicating to each other. Come to the point of it now. What is this purpose now? Come on, fast. What is this socket is? I am going to say. Syntax I am going to say. Look at. I am going to say. Variable name is equal to socket dot socket of. Socket dot socket of. What is the first socket? Module name. Dot socket of. It is called what? This function. This function is used for creating an object of what? Socket. Creating an object of what? Socket.
MBA అయిపోయింది
Socket.
కోసమని
And what is this variable name? Here, variable name is an object of class socket dot socket. Socket dot socket, capital S. Socket dot socket. Socket is a module and capital S is called what class? Socket class. What is this is called a function name. And what is this is called? Right. So variable name is an object of which one? Socket. How you make it this variable name? Socket object is existing at which side? Client side will be there. Server side will be there. If you take an electric sockets, a one side one plug-in is there, another side one more plug-in is there. Both of them are receiver and then extractor. Both the sides are called what? Sockets only. But one will have one role, another will have another role. So this socket, I will make it to run at certain DNS, certain port number, which is called which socket? Server socket. Simple, students. I am also student, you are also student. I am sitting opposite to you, are sitting opposite to me. So who am I? A teacher, and you are called what? Student. You are also one end and I am also one end. I am one teacher socket, you are called what? Student socket. If you want to retrieve our data, in teacher socket, what socket I will get it? Student socket I will get it. In student socket, what is there? Your request is there. You will receive my response. In your response, what is there? Teacher socket is available. So easy, nothing is difficult. So coming to the point of it, online students, are you getting students? So, come on, respond it. Are you getting this socket meaning? Socket is going to be a bidirectional communication entity between two ends. Now, let me continue that. Example, I am going to take it. Example, I am going to write it. Listen carefully. Don't look here and there. Already you came to the class. SS is equal to socket dot socket of. See, without listen. By keeping the book like this, do you think that I am not recognizing? Why you want to waste your time? Listen. So, నేను కూడా అవన్నీ చేసిన మనం కాలేజ్ చదివేటప్పుడు నేను నాకు తెలియదు అనుకున్నావా ఏంది లిజన్ యు ఆర్ గోయింగ్ ఫర్ ఫిఫ్త్ టైం ఫోర్త్ టైం యు ఆర్ డూయింగ్ లైక్ దట్ నాకు తెలియదు అనుకున్నావా ఎందుకు అవన్నీ విను క్లాస్ సో సాకెట్ డాట్ సాకెట్ ఆఫ్ సాకెట్ డాట్ సాకెట్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్ యు ఫాలోయింగ్ దిస్ ఫైన్ సో coming to the point of it, what is this SS is called? Server socket. After this step called what? Binding and then making to configure. SS dot bind, SS dot listen. So my SS will become which socket? Server socket. SS dot connect. That time SS will become what? Client. Right? So when we read daily to become a teacher, you will become what? Server socket. When you take the book like this and talking to friend, will become what? Student socket only always. Right? So try to change your socket style. So coming to the point of it. Now I'm going to say, when you become too much seniors now, you will become lenient with faculty. Generally, when you become fourth year engineering, what you will do? Sir, please come out, we will take chai, you will say. When you are in first year, you will be little away. Why? New. Actually, I will try to maintain some distance with student, but I will talk closely with students. You will think that sir is talking closely, na? Sir, first time I said sir did not say anything. Second time sir did not say anything. Third time also did not say anything. Like that you are continuing. When you do first time, I'll say get out. If I say, you'll be out. Need to understand, student. Come to the point. Shall I continue now? Right. Now I will go to, here SS is called which object? Socket object. Based on the properties I set for SS, it will become server socket or client socket. You will come across. Wait for next one, I will continue. So beginning I need to create which object? Socket object is finished. Next, which function I am going for? Bind function I am going for. See the bind function. See the bind function. I am going to say. Right. Now I am going to say bind function. What is this bind function is? This function is used for, and before that syntax I'll write it. Half of the thing clarity you will get it. Say here, which socket object I will take it? Server socket. And a socket object, if you don't feel server socket, what is this now? Socket object dot what? Bind of. What are you passing in the form of tuple? What are you passing in the form of tuple in the double quotes? DNS or what? IP address. Okay, comma. What are you writing? Port number you are passing. Inside of what? Tuple. Inside of tuple, you need to pass it. DNS or IP address in the string, and you will say port number. I'm saying that. This function is used for, what purpose? Making my socket object bind with a certain machine IP address and with what? Port number. So that is becoming what? Come on. Client or server? Right now I am making my socket as server socket I am making. To make it as a server side program. Simple. Out of many students I am saying that student dot bind of leader I am saying. Leader. What is that student is becoming? Leader student. Others are what? Normal students. There is a connection between leader student and other students also, no? Same thing here also. One socket bind with the server and then what? Port number. Is it a connection? Is it making server side program? Server side program. When I call connect, that time it is becoming what? Yes. I hope you are getting it. This function is used for making the program, as which side program? Server side program. Making the program as server side program by binding with what? DNS or what? IP address and port number. So done. Next is called what? Example if I take it. What is that now? SS dot SS. What is SS here? One object I created. Say what? Bind of, I say localhost, comma, something like number I am passing. 888. You take your own port number. Next time writing, you take any random port number student. You can also write say student ss dot bind of what I am passing here 127.0.0.1 of something like this you pass it. Like this you pass it. Pass your own number. Don't pass some predefined port numbers are there. If your system is connected to internet, if I have some port number which is already reserved, don't pass it. You pass some number which is not a predefined port number. I am recommending you pass the port number after 8000 because we don't know which port numbers are reserved for what. You pass the port numbers after what? 8000. That's an advice. Are you understanding? This program is becoming what? Which side program? Server side program. Now I am going for what? Listen. So, what is the listen function? What is the listen function? I said in the steps. What are the steps? Every server side program must configure in such a way that to how many clients server side program gives response. But student, every server side program must run at certain DNS, IP address or port number. So you must configure in such a way that to how many client side program it gives response. That is called our listen function now. So this function, syntax I am writing, syntax. What is the syntax? Socket object dot, come on, listen of some number I will pass it, some value. Or I can write number of clients. So I am writing this program is used, this function is used for making server side program, or I will copy that word as it is, used for configuring. I will add this word to that, used for making server side program in such a way that to how many clients is used for configuring. I will write it, configuring what? Server side program in such a way that to how many programs gives response. I hope you understood this. How do you do that? Example, I say ss dot, what is this? Listen of something like 3 or 4 or 5. Suppose I am there, one client. Suppose I am there. Who am I? Server side program. To how many clients I am communicating? Suppose room capacity is 300. Will I allow 500 here? Tell me. No. I am going to communicate with how many people? Up to this room capacity. So ss dot listen. You are thinking your side listen. To listen that many students who need to configure server side program to configure in such a way that it should have 300 capacity. Not client to configure. Who need to configure? Are you configured to listen 300 faculties? No. You are configured to listen to one person. That one person is concentrating on this many number of people. Understood? You understood reverse, correct? So ss dot listen of what? 3. So ss should listen how many clients request? 3. Who need to listen? Faculty has to listen. Client will listen what? 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1. What is that? 1 is called server. 1, 2, 3 are what? Clients. I'll continue my class. Next I will go for which function? Accept function. Accept function I will take it. So coming to the point back, accept function. This is little complicated. Nothing complicated, because return statement can return how many values at a time? A written statement can return how many values at a time generally in our functions? Either one value, it can return more than one value also. Long ago in functions, return of x comma y comma z. I can call the function and I can hold it into multi-line assignment function call. I can also call it in single variable also. What is that single variable type? A written statement can return three values. I can hold it into one single variable. What is that single variable type? Actually, you are a very good student. Nothing, no, not even one time you spoke in the class. Today you are talking. What is that variable? You tell me. Tuple. Tuple. We discussed in the beginning. Tuple. Correct? Shall I show you that? At the end of the class, I'll show for you. So, what is that example you see? Go to functions, 6 p.m. Under functions, example number 4, approach number example 4. Still I am remembering that. Okay, it is something like anonymous functions, that is. Approach number 4, approach 1, approach 2, 3, 4. You see that written ABC. I'll correctly open function file name also. Single function call with multi-line assignment. Single multi-line assignment with one thing. One thing, res of 0, res of 1, etc. Here res is of type what? Tuple. So, coming to point back. Here I am going to say next accept function. What is an accept function here? Understand. Now, syntax I will write it. When I accept it, I will call it. Students carefully understand. Here, comma, one thing I will write it is equal to, what is this now? Socket obj dot what? Accept. Accept. Accept function returns two things more. One is called from whom I am accepting, whose object I am getting. From whom I am accepting? Client. Client object will come. Plus client IP address also will come. From which place that address is coming? When you are sending a mail to me, I will come to know your content will come, plus your mail ID also will come. That is the point here. So accept function internally returns what? Two things. One is client object. I will directly write client socket object, comma what? Comma what? Client socket, client socket, ADDR also will come. Address. So, your client socket object contains which data? Client data. Right. I am writing. This function is used for accepting what? Accepting client request in the form of what? Client socket object and its address, IP address I mean to say, from which address that request has generated. Are you following? From which address that request has generated, plus its content also will come. Simple. When I send a mail, my content will come. From which mail ID it is coming, both of them will come. So to get the data of client object, I will use what? Client socket object I will get, because I will get it your total object at me. Your object dot receive. Your object dot send. Simple. Go to next function I am going to say. What is the next function? RECV. It is also important. Look at. What is the purpose of RECV? Once you accept your request, you are getting I am getting your object. Your object dot what? RECV. The data which I am getting over the network to my machine, the data will be coming in the form of what? Bytes format. Long ago, bytes is used for end-to-end encryption. That I am going to do what? Decoding. Into which format? String format it will come by default. That's why the word called what? Decode. RECV function by default retrieving the data of what client sent in the form of bytes type. That I am going to do what? Decoding. Decoding means understandable to the Python environment. So I am going to write it. Syntax I will write it. What is the syntax here? What is the syntax here? str data is equal to which object? Client socket object dot client socket SOCK object dot what? RECV. RECV. I will write something in the code. This will give you what actually? Bytes data. In the bytes function, there is bytes object, there is a function called what? Decode. So that I can get it into which type? str data. Further, to convert that str data into which type? Int type, float type, boolean type, I will use typecasting techniques. So here we need to use. That is also one drawback why this is outdated. What is the drawback? You have to specify how much amount of data you are receiving. The minimum amount of data starts with 1024 bytes. 1024 bytes is equal to how many KBs?
ఇంకా లేట్ అయిందేమో అని చెప్పి
How many MBs otherwise?
చేసాం, ఇంకెందుకు లేట్
1 MB.
ఇంటికి వెళ్దాంలే అని చెప్పి.
1024 MBs is equal to what? 1 KB. You know that entire story?
అంటే బయలుదేరుతున్నా.
Or 1024 is equal to 1 KB. 1 KB is equal to 1024 MBs. MB bytes, bytes, KBs, MBs, GBs, terabytes, petabytes, exabytes, some memory is there. And you will get kilobytes, MB bytes. You also confused. Having confusion, try to read. Basic knowledge is also important. Right. And this 1024, you can specify double that. 20, what is this? 48. 2048. And you know one more thing double than that. 4096. 1024, 2048, and then 204996. Doubling. And this is also one drawback. Why? Because we don't know how much amount of data we are receiving. Is it internet? Are we saying any size restriction there? No, but in command-based and network-based applications of Python, you have to specify compulsory this type of size of the data. By default, you have to specify what? 1024. Even if you specify the small amount of data also, by default, it will take 1024 only. Are you able to follow? So we don't know how much data is coming from other side, right or not? So minimum I will specify what? 1024. 2048 also you can specify. Are you following me?
ఏందో నువ్వు ఏం
That's what, ma. Suppose if you have it, it is not going to be giving everything. It is going to be only that much size will be coming. Extra part will not be delivered. That's why we'll specify what? Higher size will specify. I hope you are understanding. What is the decode function is doing? This will give you what? Bytes. Not what? Decode. It will come to your understandable format. I hope. This function is used for. This function is used for. Come on. Receiving what? And reading. Receiving and reading. What data? Client side, client data. At which program? At which side program? Good. At a server side program. All these things I will show the coding. Normal example, next charting application, database communication application, I will tell you tomorrow. Tomorrow 7 AM class. Already announced it. Next, this I will show you that example. How do you write it now? I will say example. Come on, which object? str s1 is equal to, or client data is equal to, direct variable I am using, client data is equal to, tell me, which data? Come on, student. Client socket object dot RECV, of course that is an example itself, RECV of 1024 dot decode of. I am getting this data into client data is available. If client data is str, suppose I want in float or double or float or complex or something, I can typecast it. Typecast it. Right. Next I will go for, okay, with this what I will do? I received it. I will process it. My result is ready. That result I have to give back or not? Who need to give? Server. To whom I have to give? Client. How can I give it? By using which function? Send. Send is going to take which data generally? str data. I have to decode it now. Encode. Encoding. Encoding means converting STR data into what type? Bytes type. Simple. Go to the next line. I will write the syntax. See this? I'll write the syntax. What is the syntax here? To whom I have to send it? The data I need to send it to whom? Client data need to send to which object? There I will write it. Client socket object dot. Client socket object dot. At which side I am writing? That is an important. Dot. Come on, what is the function name? Sender. To whom I am sending? At which side? Server side. So, sender of which data? STR data. Dot what? Encode. Because this is present into STR data. Dot. It is getting into which type? Bytes type. This bytes type is a parameter to which function? That will send it to which object? Client side. Client side. So this I am writing. This function is used for sending what? Sending which data? Server side response. Server side program response. Server side program response to which side program? Client side program. Client side program. So example if I take it, of course, I will same. Here I will write it. I am writing here which data? STR data dot encode. So if I take it, of course, same example as something like this. STR data. Suppose I want to send hello. I will write hello. Something like this. Dot what I will do? Encode. What is this data is called? STR data dot encode of. Getting like this. I will write this type of. This is not SS dot. Not a server socket dot. This is a client socket of. In the programming, if I do it now, you'll get 100% clarity. By this time, you need to get the clarity on it. If I do the multiple programs, you will get total clarity. Connect, last one. Easy. Who need to connect to whom? And moreover, RECV I will use at which side? Client side I will use, server side I will use. Send also I will use at which side? Server and client side I will use. In the programming, I will take care about it. Now, connect. Syntax. What is this now? What is that? Client socket object dot connect of what you will pass? DNS and what is this? IP address, comma what? Port number. What is the difference between connect and bind? Bind is for server side. Connect is at which side? Client side. Listen is at which side? Server side. Connect is at which side? Right. Socket off is at which side? Both the sides. RECV send is which side? Both the sides. Bind and listen at which side? Connect is, and the rest of the functions will be both the sides. So I'll write it. This syntax, this function is used for obtaining connection. Obtaining connection from which side program? Server side program. From server side program at client side. At client side. At client side program. Once a connection is granted, we'll do multiple things. So I will do the example. What I will do? S is equal to what? Socket dot. What is this? Socket off. I say here S dot what? Connect. Connect. Of what I will say? Localhost. Localhost I can pass. Localhost, comma what I will say? Some 66. Already I used 888. Like that I need to pass it. So that connection will be established. Tomorrow when I am writing this code, which side, which one? First program itself will get the clarity. Second and third programs are there, you will understand it. So this is related to what? Library discussion. Remember what is the purpose of it. How to use it and all those things in the program, it will be clear. I hope students in online. So Melrose 7 a.m. your time. I will sleep in the UK. Okay. How can do 7 a.m. class? Did not consider us on the other part of the world. Okay. Melrose for only one day, my dear student. for only one day. For only one day. This is not for all the days. So this is only for one day. Only for one day, Melrose. Okay. And once again, I am saying 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. totally online. This is, you also need to join. This time I'll say the programs on that. On Monday, I am going to discuss multi-threading. I will start. Multi-threading I am going to start. This will take 3 days, 1 day extra if it is possible. 3 days and 1 day. After that, regular expressions. It is also one important topic. Regular expressions. This will take 3 days. Okay. And one more thing, JSON file also I'll explain. JSON file. This is half an hour I will take because the dict related things are there. Dict related with the files. Already you know files now. JSON module I will explain. So this will be course completion. This will be done. This course will be done in the next week, Monday to Saturday, if possible. Monday to Saturday that will be over. If anything left out, next Monday also will be taken into consideration. That is my action plan of the course. Okay now? Actually 3 months supposed to complete the course, but is 4th month is running. Right? 4th month. So still you are expecting sir should say more and more. Already 3 months, whatever the time I said, it is crossed. Right or not? So even if I said, yes, my dear Muhammad, I will keep that link, I will keep that link in the Google Drive class. So at any cost, today night I will keep that link for you. Right. Shoaib Khan, I am going little bit slow only now. So Saurav, I will explain my iterator and generator. Next Monday is also there or not? Iterator, generator, only decorator is explained. Iterator, generator also I'll explain. I will not leave you until I will explain everything. If I would have been that, already within 3 months only I would have been wash out my hands. I'll explain everything. I is simple, that is all simple. I will explain that. If you take only that one, that is nature. I'll explain that. Don't worry about it. Okay, students, I'll link and don't miss class. Okay, na? Thank you. All the best. Don't miss tomorrow class. 7 a.m. the class will start sharp. Tomorrow Sunday, totally online class. Don't miss tomorrow class.
రేపు మార్నింగ్ 7కే క్లాస్ ఉందంట. రేపు మార్నింగ్ ఇదే మెయిల్కి పెడతారు చూడు.
Yes, my dear students, online students. So any doubt is there?